that are happening in this administration are not happening on the blind side of the president, but with a tacit approval. Today is evidence of that.
We'll get reactions following a directive by the Communications Ministry that sanctions will be applied if telcos do not plug into the platform within 48 hours. Also, violence against children tops latest Peace and Governance Index as most prevalent crime nationwide.
The family is one of the major problems that in terms of seeking justice for children that we ourselves as governments are finding difficult to deal with.
Reactions to that. And in business,
government seeks support from financial sector players to help fight cybercrime. Details in 30 minutes.
In sports, government commit to deliver a spectacular 2018 Total Women's AFCON tournament in Ghana.
And later on, flip side, increase in prices of beer incurs the wrath of the Drunkards Association, which is threatening to hit the streets over the price hikes.
We all know the pleasure we get from drinking. When you drink moderately, you become happy. Consumers can no longer afford drinking beer. At first, we were buying beer 4 cedis 50 pesos per bottle. It is now 6 cedis 50 pesos.
We have all the latest right here on Newsnight. You may want to join us with your thoughts and comments via WhatsApp on 0244 340437. I am MFA Pau.
And my name is Evan Spencer. More on that breaking news story from the KNUST campus. We'll be live there. Hear from the National Youth Authority. Hear from the Shanti Regional Security Council Chair, the Regional Minister Simon Sebin. So stay with us. More from the break.
Bond for Yankophobia Mudinokre.
I came to Bond because I wanted to expand my business.
Bond's intervention in our company has provided us with capital to grow our stock and also to expand our machinery.
Without Bond, I should have folded by now.
The
way the girls relate to you, the way they talk to you, wow, I really love it.
Just a phone call and I'll be sorted out. That assurance is incredible.
Bond is the answer to the SMEs in Ghana.
Bond here, you can move.
Bond is 10 years. Come on, let's celebrate your success, our passion.
Bond, your success, our passion.
Abeku, my dear, my business way dear. We use more data than voice calls. But this by force bundler my network gives me dear. I need flexibility you trying to grow my business.
Then move to Vodafone Smart Business. It's a flexible mobile package for business that allows you to be your own boss.
But how?
You decide how much data, foreign or local call bundles your business needs.
Sir.
Annie, move your business into the future with Vodafone Smart Business and enjoy rollover of unused data to save your company money.
I see.
Whatever the style of your business, Vodafone Smart Business has the solution for you. Call 030-233-4040 or visit www.vodafone.com.gh/business/smart business for more details.
The future is exciting. Ready?
Hey, Yimshi. I noticed that all the national stadia in Ghana have lasted for decades.
Oh, yes. But do you also know that the concrete bridges are also decades old?
Yes.
Only one company in Ghana can give you that guarantee, and that is Gasem.
Cement that guarantees smooth finishing of plastering.
That is the Gasem Super Rapid 32.5R. If you want to have strong blocks for any form of construction, use Gasem Super Strong 42.5R. For your time-tested bridges like the Adome, multi-story buildings, highways like the motorway, then it is Gasem Extra 42.5N.
And the good news is, all these cement products are made right here in Ghana.
Gasem, 3 cement grades, unique quality. Gasem, the nation builder.
Nationwide Medical Insurance, the leader in private health insurance, has deployed superior technology to make your healthcare experience more convenient and exciting. With the Nationwide mobile app, you can order your prescription drugs and we will deliver to your doorsteps. With over 600 dependable healthcare service providers, you're just a step away locating your service provider of choice and accessing hospital claim information in real time. Our corporate clients are guaranteed timely corporate utilization reports. We provide on-site clinics to give employees access to healthcare in the comfort of their offices. Enjoy these amazing benefits and so much more by signing on to Nationwide Medical Insurance today. Call us on toll-free number 0800 222222 or visit our website www.nationwidemh.com. Nationwide Medical Insurance. Join the healthcare family.
And the curfew is currently in force on the campus at KNUST. In that unfolding breaking news story, MFA, you've been covering this since midday, but it started way before midday.
Okay, so the students have raised a number of concerns, including turning some of the halls into a mixed hall. We've also heard some of them say that they have concerns about why first-year students will be made to take decisions for the entire students' body. These are some of the concerns, the major concerns they raised. At the last time we checked, 2 students were arrested. That was at midday when we spoke to Erastus. Then later we were told that they were released. So that's what happened. And then also we were told that they had to bring military enforcement to come and kill the situation because the school and authorities and property were being vandalized by these students.
Well, since then, we know that the Ashanti Regional Security Council had met and they had imposed a dusk to dawn curfew, which began 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew, which took effect 8 minutes ago. We also know that the school, the KNUST, has been shut down indefinitely. Every student on campus is expected to pack out of campus by midday tomorrow. The only students that will be left on campus will be international students, and there's going to be a combined team of military and policemen who will be on campus to protect them, to provide protection for them. And we know up to 30 vehicles were destroyed, some of them set ablaze by the students. Property destroyed, including lecture halls and administration blocks, totally destroyed. The students set roadblocks. And we also heard from a briefing by the university authorities that, in fact, they have intelligence that further attacks are planned, and that is why we've seen a deployment of a heavily armed police and military men on the ground, plus accusations that the school's alumni were behind today's attack because of what you talked about. The thing that sparked this is they attend by the school authorities to convert some of the halls into mixed halls, which has been fueling this all along. Let's go on the phone lines. Thankfully, we have with us on the line the Chief Executive Officer of the National Youth Authority, who issued a strongly worded statement in which they asked that the Vice Chancellor be held accountable for what is happening on the campus, and they called on all peace-loving people to hold him responsible and take the necessary actions in a timely manner to avert any further brutalities and confusion that will only mar the peace on the KNUST campus. Mr. Sigri, thank you very much for holding the line for us. You were explaining, I was asking you why you took that position that the KNUST Vice Chancellor should be held responsible when the students had taken the law into their own hands and destroyed property.
Including us.
Hello, Mr. Sigri.
That's what I've said.
Hello, Mr. Sigri. Hello, Mr. Sigri, can you hear me? Hello, Mr. Sigri.
Yeah, okay. Evans.
Yes, my question to you, I don't know if you heard it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you talking of the first question?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly, yes.
Yes, like I indicated to you, I mean, we foresaw this coming, and that is why we issued this statement. And I must indicate that our statement was issued long before latest happenings that has happened at the university that has warranted this action taken by the Regional Security Council. You know, I mean, it's sad that, we have had a situation which, have been lingering on for some time now, and it has gotten to a point where everybody is behaving as if this thing just came out of the blue. I have been monitoring what's been going on at the university since Saturday. And yesterday, we all saw a statement issued by the University Student Representative Council indicating that today no lectures, they're going to demonstrate, and the reasons for the demonstration was not put out. And we kept on monitoring the situation, only to be seeing some videos and news items coming about some students who were brutalized by campus security, and some have been hospitalized. I think some media houses covered this. And this is what necessitated our issuing the statement, calling on the university authorities to be more responsible in dealing with the students. And that if there's any issue that has to be dealt with, I think the dialogue should take precedence. If you listen to the school's public relations officer, it tells you clearly that none of these steps, were considered. And it is sad that we've allowed this to degenerate into this point where public property, private property, has had to go through this type of a situation. It's a very unfortunate situation that has happened to the university, and I think that I join in condemning what has happened. But our statement was issued way before the latest incidents that have taken place at the campus that happened.
You seem to suggest that the university itself either is negligent or complicit in what happened today, that they sort of brought this upon themselves.
Of course. If you take from where it started from, and that's where I have a problem with where your reporter is indicating that this thing started with no provocation, no direction from anyone. And then you find the university people, authorities also talking about the alumni being involved in this whole thing. Why are we running away from the fact that this whole weekend some incidents happened at the school? Why are we running away from that? Nobody seems to be talking about that. And that is what necessitated National Youth Authority under my leadership to issue the statement that what had transpired over the weekend should be watched. Because if you had the students issuing a statement that they were going on a demonstration and then NUCS also supporting them, it meant that it was leading to something else. And now we are in this big mess. Nobody's talking about what has led us into that. And we are all pretending and making it look as if it happened out of nothing. It did happen out of something. And that is why I think that I still stand by my statement, calling on the university authorities led by Professor Danso to answer for all these things that have happened. Despite the fact that it's an unfortunate thing that has happened and we all condemn what has happened, we would have been able to nip this in the bud. Nobody should blame the security for not acting. The university authorities had their own security. What did they do? Going about and brutalizing students. In this day and age, we cannot have ourselves going through this type of situation. Evans, I have had calls coming from key international bodies. The Commonwealth Youth Council has called me. They called me to find out what was going on. The Pan-African Youth Forum has also called. And you find our situation degenerating to a point where our international partners are trying to find out what's happening to the young people of this country. Why?
Yeah, but Mr. Sigri, you make a point about the school authorities taking decisions that, of course, we know that the students, both alumni and current students, are not happy with. But question is, and for somebody who's schooling in an academic environment, if you have a grievance, do you take the law into your own hands? Is that what you're endorsing?
No way. There is no way. And you would have realized that the statement again admonished the students to go through due process and put their grievances before the authorities.
Yes.
But you see, Evans, you have a very dire situation. If you have, university authorities who are not ready to even sit with these students and then hear them out, based on some past situations, where do we even get the opportunity to say students should sit down and have a dialogue with the authorities? That is where we have thought through and then are putting the blame on the university authorities. We are not doing this.
How can you blame the university authorities?
Could you say that again?
How can you blame the university authorities for students deciding, adults deciding to burn vehicles, torch some, destroy property? Because what? They have a grievance with the school authorities? Is that what the National Youth Authority says should be blamed? The school authority should take the blame for?
Situations, put some measures in place, and then you unleash the university security to go and then treat these students as if they were no human beings. For me, that aspect, I would not shy away from it at all. What is currently pertaining is a very unfortunate incident, but what led into this whole issue is what I'm saying, that we should not pretend and make it look as if nothing happened. It happened just this morning.
Yeah, but what do you say? But what do you say? What do you say to the students who did what happened today, which has led to the imposition of a curfew and the shutting down of the whole university indefinitely?
Well, that's why I'm saying that it is a sad situation that has led into where we all find ourselves. And I think that it is not something that is making anyone happy. We're all parents. I have my nephew, my elder brother's son, who is fast, and I'm the one taking care of him. He sent me a message this morning telling me of he preparing to write his midterm and then needing some support and all that. Now he's had to come home.
Yeah, but he's had to come home because students took the law into their own hands.
No, but Evans, that's what I'm saying, that these students are there and they have people who are supposed to be taking care of them. And look, it is sad that we found ourselves in this position. But I think that what we have seen these students do gives an indication of what it is that these authorities are turning out in terms of how these students are behaving or would behave.
It's almost as if you're
because if you are supposed to be training students, if you are supposed to be raising students, and then this is what they're doing. I mean, like I indicated, it all started from somewhere. and nobody could sit these students down and then say, let's see how we can deal with it. It started with some university halls. I mean, that's the one I'm not going in there. But where you had the SRC issuing a statement, it meant that something had gone untoward. Because
Mr. Sigba, my final question to you. My final question to you. We understand the grievance the students have. My question to you is, do you condemn the actions of the students today in destroying, vandalizing property?
I've said that more than 3 times on this very throughout this very interview. That I'm not even saying just myself, but the National Youth Authority, under whose authority I issued this statement, we condemn what has transpired and leading to what decisions have been taken by the Regional Security Council.
But you still believe that the authorities brought this on themselves?
As for that aspect, I am not going to shy and run away from it.
I'm grateful that you joined us. That's the Chief Executive Officer of the National Youth Authority, Emmanuel Senyat Asigri. Let's go live now to the campus of the KNUST MFA because 17 minutes ago, the curfew came into force. Erastus Asaridonko is there for us. Erastus, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I understand that you've had to deal with military and police who are enforcing the curfew yourself.
Exactly. A short while ago, we were told by the police commander who is leading the force here to enforce the curfew that we should be leaving. In fact, he was asking me about mission here at this moment because the school has been put under curfew by RESEC. No business parking our vehicle and being here, and that the men there do not know us. And so we have been asked.
But what about the students? How are they observing the curfew?
Well, currently you cannot. It's an empty place. I must say it's as calm as a cemetery. You cannot see any student at all on site. They've all gone to their halls of residence. The people I can see here are the armed police and military personnel who are currently being briefed on what is supposed to happen throughout the night. I can see a number of police dispatch riders here, a number of military personnel, all armed. Some of them holding canes as well. And they have gathered here, being briefed and dispatched across the university community to try and maintain law and order and enforce the curfew. So that is what you see at the moment. No student inside.
And earlier you reported that students just minutes to 6 were running helter-skelter on campus, taking shelter in their dormitories and halls of residence just to avoid being caught up by the curfew.
Exactly. Just some few minutes ago, I saw some students who were passing by from the Brunei end, crossing over, some of them holding polythene bags full of their items. I think they are trying to leave the university campus itself, trying to get home. And so you could find just spots of those people, but they get questioned by the security forces here before they are allowed to move on. The other side is of vehicles that are passing through the university. I mean, private vehicles passing through the university to Aidi. That one is untouched, but there are snap checks all over there. And so you get to be stopped, you get to be asked questions, and probably searched before you make a move on to your destination. So that is what is happening at the moment.
Do we have the university relations officer? Of course, he's been dealing with all this today, trying to speak to the issues. I don't know whether he's been caught up with a curfew.
Well, he's also standing here. His vehicle has his windscreen smashed, so definitely he's here waiting for transport. But you can still speak with him.
Yes, Mr. Yeboah, thank you very much for staying and talking to us, even as the curfew is. Thank you for staying and talking to us, even as the curfew is enforced by the military and the police. From what I just heard from Erastus, you were a victim of the rioting and violence today. Hello, Mr. Yeboah.
Yeah, hello.
Hi, you are a victim of the violence today, I understand.
Yes, I am. I'm a victim.
What happened to your vehicle?
Well, it was parked at a car park. As indicated earlier, we felt the demonstration was going to be a peaceful one, but it turned out violent. So they just vandalized all the vehicles they met. They were destroying everything on the way. So that's how come my vehicle was also caught in the web.
So what? What was destroyed in your vehicle?
Yes, all the windscreens and the windows to the doors, all of them.
Smashed.
They're smashed, yes.
Okay, and the curfew is in force, as I understand. This is affecting even university authorities and officials like yourself, correct?
Yes, it would affect, but some latitude is being given to members of staff to just go through. It's only the students who are supposed to be in their rooms, but they are also, well, if they get there and they are able to explain themselves very well, the security guys allow them to also quickly run to their rooms.
Let me ask you this: we just finished talking to the chief executive officer of the National Youth Authority, Emmanuel Sigri, who says that the vice chancellor, Professor Kwesi Obiri-Danso, under whose word this is happening, must be held accountable, fully responsible for what has happened today. And that, in essence, you, officials of the university, KNUS, you brought this on yourself because of the way you handled the conversion from all male halls to the mixed hall, non-consultation, etc. Do you accept that?
I wouldn't accept that. You see, when there is an issue, I think we need to, discuss it passionately. Dispassionately, not even passionately. The idea of having the mixed hall is not of today. Virtually all the halls were males, with the exception of Africa Hall. And this is something that has been on the table for a very long time. And the intent, many females were qualified to enter our university, particularly in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And as a way of encouraging them, there was a need to keep many of them here. So we said, okay, let's make these halls, some of the rooms here in these two male halls also available so that they also become mixed, including Africa Hall. We put some males there. So this is something that was with good intent. So I don't see what is so wrong if females join males in a hall. So I'm surprised such a statement is coming from him.
But also, we are learning that on Friday, your own private security men brutalized students. In fact, a message that we just received on our WhatsApp console reads this. It says, it was asking me, what would you do, what would you have done if your brother was the one who lost his memory because he was brutalized by campus security men? The action that went on today has got nothing to do with the university hall conversion, but rather the maltreatment of students by school authorities last Friday. So how do you react to this?
You see, the gentleman has not lost his senses. It is never true. The gentleman was discharged today.
Yes, but so you admit he was admitted because he was brutalized by your security men.
You see, what happened was there was confusion. The gentlemen were throwing stones just as they did today. And the guy must have been caught in the crossfire. But you see, some people just put the news out there to make the industry look very, very bad. As if the policy to convert these halls was something that was inimical to the Ghanaian nation. You see, so some people are just out there to create this affection for the industry.
Yeah, but if he was caught in the crossfire, a student had been injured by your security men. The students today, from the National Youth Authority's point of view, were simply reacting to the high-handedness that you had meted out to them on Friday.
No, you see, it's just one-sided. They are trying to paint all these the picture that you are telling us. The guy was caught up very likely by the stones that were being thrown. The guy was taken to the hospital. But you see, the impression has been created. You see, some of our security men also got injured, about 3 of them.
Do you take any responsibility at all for what happened today, the university, I mean?
I don't know the responsibility we should take.
One, because you knew what happened on Friday. This was pretty volatile. You knew it was simmering. Security arrangements, etc.
Let me just explain what happened on Friday. You see, the students normally on Fridays, particularly these two halls, Unity and University Hall, would want to have what they term morale. They meet, drum, dance, and all that. With the females being put in the 2 halls, we felt that security could be compromised. So we said, let's put on hold that and see. Some few weeks ago, about 3-4 weeks ago or so, they were allowed to have it. Unity Halls was quite okay. There was no incident.
But that of University Hall turned violent. So this time, which was the last Friday, the Hall authority said, no, you cannot have it because of what happened the last time. And this brought about a misunderstanding because the Hall authority has said you can't have it, but they said they would have it. And I saw that as lawlessness. Why do you defy the Hall authority? This.
Okay.
And on the same day, Unity Hall had theirs. No incident.
We lost him on the line there, unfortunately, but we know that MFA, that tomorrow there won't be school because the school has been closed down indefinitely, and in fact only international students will be left on campus. Even for them, there'll be heavy security protection for them. We've been trying to reach the Ashanti Regional Minister who chaired the emergency meeting. What have we managed to get?
And he's also the chairman of the Regional Security Council. We're told that he actually picked our calls and told us that they are actually locked up in a meeting, a security meeting on the way forward, because we're told that the Education Minister will also lead a delegation to the school tomorrow on a fact-finding mission to ascertain exactly what happened today and the way forward. So that's the situation as we speak. A meeting is currently underway on the way forward.
Okay, and I see a number of you have joined us with your views and comments on this unfolding situation in the KNUST. If you're just joining us, a breaking news today in the last hour, KNUST, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, has been shut down, closed down indefinitely, and a 6 p.m. dusk to dawn curfew imposed we started like 28 minutes to go. Campus, as we heard from our reporter on the ground there, is almost a ghost town. Everybody is back in their halls of residence. Students have been directed to pack their things and leave campus by noon tomorrow, midday tomorrow. Everybody must leave the campus by midday tomorrow. Only international students will be left on the campus, and they will get protection from military and police who are there in force on the ground enforcing the curfew tonight. The Education Ministry has issued a statement saying that the Education Minister himself will lead a delegation to the campus in a bid to sort of mediate. We'll be talking to both students and the university officials at 10 a.m. tomorrow. As we also learned, MFA, that there's still a Security Council emergency meeting still underway.
Exactly.
Still plotting a way forward as the school remains indefinitely closed.
But interestingly, we are still yet to hear from the Minister in charge of tertiary education. We're still trying to reach him to be able to hear what his side has to say on this matter. But some of your messages via WhatsApp on 0244340437. This one here says, Sigri should be sacked as head of National Youth Authority. Is he endorsing criminality? He must bow his head in shame. And this one from AU Farouk in Tamale says, it is sad, the crisis in University of Science and Technology. I blame authorities who are unable to solve their grievances. Toklo Sewado, who is an old student, also says it is very unfortunate, but that is what happened. If you think a military approach is the best type of leadership, it is so embarrassing that whereas universities in other countries are inventing, we are just messing up with everything. The Vice Chancellor seems to lose control, and I hope he will do the honorable thing to resign. That's from Teklo Sewado. This one from Wachuku Jr. from Agunodo Bing says, Evans, I can tell emphatically that no alumni was involved in this. The students were oppressed and revolted. That is all. You can't keep beating students and expect nothing to be done by the students. Eric writes that one. And this one also says the VC of KNUST doesn't have patience at all. Can't he wait to meet the delegation from the Ministry of Education before issuing this directive? Where are the students going in the night this rainy season?
I see.
He asks.
Yao Prempe Prisek Legon says the KNUST impasse is distasteful and alarming, but it is high time school authorities respect the rights of the students. Hi Evans, says it's there's another one from Charles. It says it's so shameful for us as a nation to have this KNUST brouhaha. The Vice Chancellor should bow his head in gross shame and, as a matter of fact, resign from his post. He disobeyed the president's order when he was asked to halt the process. He must pay for this. He refers to the president speaking about this in Washington, where the alumni had petitioned him, and he said that he's asked the education minister to sort of get the conversations going again on this matter. This one has no name. It says leadership has failed on the campus. What do you again? Converting male hall into female hall. What is their motive? This is from somebody from inside East Legon. George Yafe is here with business. But when we return from business, we have the latest on the Kelny GVG matter, because the president today has formally launched that the
common monitoring platform, and the minority already are accusing President Akufo-Addo of endorsing an illegality following that official launch. We also get to hear from the Communications Ministry plus reactions, and she's directed that sanctions will be applied if telcos do not plug into the platform within 48 hours.
George, what do you have in the headlines?
Well, events coming up in business, the government seeks support from the financial sector players to help deal with cybercrime in the country. And a former deputy governor of the Bank of Ghana, Emmanuel Asiedu-Mantey, gives a different perspective over the cause of panic withdrawals in the banking sector. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all your office equipment.
In this part of the world, we rise early, way before the sunrise. We plan, we pray, we prep, just so we are a step ahead. We keep the conversations going to stay connected to family, friends, and business. They say, Agrobeswa Ifrianopa. Start your day bright with MTN Kokroko. For only 1 Ghana cedi, you can enjoy 400 megabytes of data and 30 minutes of free MTN to MTN calls every day from 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. everywhere you go. Dial *138# to buy MTN Kokroko bundle now.
But the best, we stay above the rest. More quality, more affordability. Kingdom Books and Stationery. Everybody's going to the one and only shop where customer satisfaction is a guarantee. Kingdom Books and Stationery.
Oh yes, with our 30 days credit facility with no interest charge, free delivery services, and our free consultation on setting up your office, Kingdom Books and Stationery is unmatched in our delivery of quality and affordable office essentials, equipment, and furniture.
Experience world-class customer service in all our branches in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Cape Coast, and Takoradi.
Call us on 0302-764-101
or visit our website at www.kingdomgh.com.
Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all office essentials and stationery. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello, young CEOs, SMEs, business leaders, and entrepreneurs. It's the second Ghana SME and Young CEO Summit and Expo, a unique one-day world-class forum for knowledge gains on business scale-ups, corporate best practices, and expanding your network of top-level business contact, to be held on the 26th of November 2018 at the Kempinski Hotel, Accra. Theme: Corporate Leadership Governance, Strong Pillar for Business and Economic Growth. Be enlightened by world-class faculty CEO mentors, keynote speakers, panelists, experts, and government officials. For registration, sponsorships, and corporate exhibitions, visit GhanaSMECEOSummit.com or call 0546-391-970 or 0277-899-000. The second Ghana SME and Young CEO Summit and Expo is powered by CEO Network Ghana and Deloitte.
Now, this very moment, it's the pulse of possibility, potential, power. It's time
to make your move,
to take that step.
The time
is now.
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 The great things you do tomorrow start with the small steps you take right now. So take that step with Old Mutual. Call us on 0302-230-638 and make now count. Old Mutual. Do great things every day.
Welcome back to Business on Newsnight. And government is seeking support from all players in the financial sector to help deal with cybercrime in the country. Deputy Minister of Communications Vicentus Udetaisu made the call at the launch of the Cyber Information Security Directive for Financial Sector and the inauguration of the Bank of Ghana Security Operations Center in Accra today.
The time is right for us to establish cyber defensive mechanisms to safeguard our systems starting today
with the financial sector. Cybersecurity works best with collaborations. Hence, the effective fight against cybercrime will require seamless collaboration between the government, state and public agencies, private companies, entrepreneurs, academicians, and indeed all stakeholders. Collectively, we must constantly adapt to the emerging security threats. You all agree with me that such directives should be supported by continuous capacity training to effectively fight this battle.
First Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Maxwell Opoku-Afari, on his part also talked about what the regulator is doing to help improve the situation in the financial sector.
For Ghana, the threat is growing. A recent study in 2016 disclosed that there were more than 400,000 malware incidents, 44 million spam incidents, and 280,000 bot incidents within Ghana's financial industry. With this background and the complexities associated with the advancement of technology, it is imperative that the Bank of Ghana take steps to counter these threats to ensure the integrity and operational security of the financial system. It is in this regard that the Bank of Ghana has developed the Cybersecurity Directive for financial institutions. The objectives of this directive are to ensure an uninterrupted financial intermediation process through a robust and resilient financial sector, and also to boost the trust and confidence of consumers in the banking industry.
And that's the first Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Maxwell Opoku-Afari. You may call it an interesting revelation, but you might not be wrong. Now, this is because a former Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Emmanuel Asiedu-Manteh, says the recent panic withdrawals in the banking sector should be linked to the failure of these banks to comply with some regulatory requirements. The whole financial sector is set to be hit by some serious panic withdrawals, linking it to the recent collapse of the 5 banks. But the former Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana and also the head of banking supervision at the Central Bank disagrees. Here's his thoughts on this.
What is happening is that some banks are not obeying the laws. The laws are there. Some banks are obeying, others are not obeying. Unfortunately, those not obeying the laws are the local ones. So laws are meant to bring sanity into a system. Now, you have a banking law that says, look, you must maintain perpetual liquidity so that when a depositor wants his money, you can pay him. You don't do it. You submit returns to the central bank, they write to you and say, no, you are infringing on the law. Take measures to correct it. You don't do it. They visit you, they go through your books, they write to you and say, look, you are not obeying the laws. Take measures to do it. You don't do it. They invite the board and the MD to the bank, they talk to them. You go again, they don't do it.
Do you think that these banks suffering from these panic withdrawals have failed to comply with the necessary banking law?
Exactly. Put it simply, that's what it means. They've not obeyed the laws of the provisions in the banking law.
Then that starts to the regulator to crack the whip if I am not complying with the law.
The central bank does that on daily basis, on weekly basis, on monthly basis, right? That's what people out there don't know, right? They get to know only when the central bank says, I've withdrawn your licenses. But it's a daily activity. I've worked in that department before, so I know.
Emmanuel Asiedu-Manteh is a former Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana and also one of the longest head of banking supervision at the Bank of Ghana. Now, players in the capital market will be given up to a year to meet the new capital level for the various players in the capital market. That is those that were set by the Securities and Exchange Commission. Now, that's coming from the Deputy Director General, Securities and Exchange Commission, Paul Abubu. Now, this is coming after the Commission announced that it could settle on the new capital levels for the various market players by the end of this year. So, Abubu tells Joy Business the 1 year should be enough for all these players to meet the levels.
So we are in the legal drafting stages. Some of the requirements in the capital framework rest in the LI 1728, which LI is legislative instrument. So what we're doing now is to draft that amendment that will activate it. And so that also takes some time. So that's where we are. We're hoping that before the end of the year, it should be in Parliament for approval.
One would say, the economists would say that all other things being equal, when are we hoping that communication will come and then that timelines for meeting the various levels for the various licensees? We will give some time. It will be about a year
for people to adjust their models and to raise their requisite level of capital. So all things being equal, once we've gone through the regulatory processes, we will issue a communication out. But already we published the draft framework. What is being finalized will also be published as well, even as it goes through the processes, so that people know to start preparing. So I think that communication is ongoing, but once we have the legal documents finalized and approved, then we will come out to the final.
There are currently 148 fund managers in the country. The Securities and Exchange Commission, for instance, has settled on 2.5 million Ghana cedis as a new capital requirement for these fund managers from the current level of 100,000. Meanwhile, the Securities and Exchange Commission has also justified decision for its directive that fund managers should stop offering guaranteed rates to own investment. This should mean that you can no longer be asking for a fixed rate on your investment going forward with these fund managers and investment houses. And before we go, the stock market, EcoBank saw one of its biggest loss in value on the Ghana Stock Exchange today. It dropped by 78 pesos to close at 7 Ghana cedis, 17 pesos. And that's all for business on Newsnight. Interesting development at
KNUST?
KNUST.
Is
that your alma mater? No, Legon, of course.
Yeah.
Truth stands, you know.
Yeah, right.
So now, the member of the minority side on the Communications Committee in Parliament, Sam George, is tonight accusing President Akufo-Addo of endorsing an illegality following the official launch of the Common Monitoring Platform, commissioning the controversial project at the NCA Towers. President Akufo-Addo charged the Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority to take advantage of the Common Platform and roll out innovative ways to broaden the country's tax net. He also urged the telecommunications companies to comply and connect to the Common Platform to guarantee government revenue in the industry.
It's important to state that we have not left out what potentially could be one of the most vital components of this agenda: cybersecurity. In this ever-changing world, where a young man or woman living in a cottage in some faraway country can, with the support of a device as small as a mobile phone, undertake an activity with rippling effects on countries, big or small. It is critical that we deploy the appropriate instruments to secure our nation, our people, our businesses, and our very way of life. The Director General of the National Communications Authority, in his remarks, indicated how the NCA Computer Emergency Response Team, NCA CERT, represents a key cog in the vision of a Ghana beyond aid. Even as we look for ways to raise resources in Ghana for our own development, it is heartwarming to see the two regulatory authorities, the National Communications Authority and the Ghana Revenue Authority, have taken steps to guarantee the revenues of government and also ensure that regulators and telecommunication operators work together to this end. The NCA CERT and the Common Platform, which we are commissioning, are essential for the development of our nation. That is why I commend the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Communications for embarking on this joint initiative and for making the Common Platform project a success.
Also, Communications Minister Eslo Zerkufo warned all telecommunications networks to cooperate with the NCA and Kelny GVG by doing the needful within 48 hours. She says failure within the given period will attract sanctions.
The Common Platform is also of particular importance for revenue assurance and monitoring, fraud protection, and mobile money monitoring. Mobile money is a service provided by telecoms companies on their telecoms infrastructure, subscribers who sign up to it. It is a communication service covered by Act 864. The regulator, NCA, and the Ghana Revenue Authority are very interested in how that service also impacts on the tax revenues due to the state, and have procured this Common Platform to assist in providing them with the information they need on this area of telecoms activity as well. I urge all mobile network operators to cooperate with the NCA and GRA and Kelny GVG and provide the information they need to monitor mobile money as well. Failure to do so within the next 48 hours will result in the imposition of prescribed by Act 864. There was never any intention to infringe on the privacy of citizens' communications through the common platform. That was put out by so-called think tanks and civil society organizations, which led to some even sponsoring lawsuits against the common platform. The injunction application was thrown out, thankfully, by the High Court, which indicated that they were born out of fanciful fears, quote and unquote. They have finally heeded the wisdom of sound counsel and discontinued all other lawsuits.
So you have the Communications Minister, Esla Owusu-Ekufo. So another deadline, Evans, it looks like there was a first deadline when she went to Parliament. Yeah, there was a first
deadline that she issued. She went to Parliament to address the House on this controversial revenue monitoring measure that they were introducing. And at that time, and this was as far back as June, and she told Parliament that, in fact, she issued an 11-day deadline to all the telcos to plug in to the Kelny GVG system or face sanctions, which include withdrawal of licenses, etc., which is what she's repeating several months on.
This time, 48 hours.
Yeah, it begs the question, what happened? Clearly, if she's saying this today, several months on, it means that her own initial deadline in June was not respected. What happened to it? We don't know. But clearly, some of the telcos are still not plugged in. And that's where I guess we need to be interrogating a bit more.
And we've been joined on the phone by the president of Imani Africa, Mr. Franklin Cudjoe. We know that they were raised a number of concerns about this common monitoring platform. And earlier today, they issued a statement also describing as shocking President Akufo-Addo's launch of the common monitoring platform for telcos, despite the many concerns about costs that were raised. Thank you very much for your time here on Newsline, Mr. Franklin Cudjoe. So you heard the president. It's actually been launched. We also heard the communications minister. It looks like some of the fears that you raised were actually fanciful, and that the common monitoring platform has come to stay. Your reaction? It looks like we've lost Mr. Franklin Cudjoe there on the line. Also earlier, the minority member of the Parliament's Communications Committee, Sam George, also accused the president of engaging in an illegality by actually launching this common monitoring platform. And we are privileged to have him join us on the line as well. Thank you very much for your time here on Newsline, Mr. Sam George. So you are accusing the president of endorsing an illegality. Why is that?
A very good evening to you. The president has, by this single act, put his name in the annals of our country as being a president who endorses criminality, illegality, and does not have respect for value for money, and the taxpayers' money. You have a contract that is a sham of a contract, $180 million signed off illegally and without the due processes as spelled out in Ghanaian law. There was no value for money audit carried out in this project. The tender process was a sham. A shameful sham. And you have the president of this republic, after all the complaints have been made, instead of instituting a commission of inquiry to look into the matter, he rather takes the full weight of the presidency to endorse this. I'm disappointed and gobsmacked as a Ghanaian. Now let us make one thing clear here, and let me serve notice, that this act against the people of Ghana will not go unforgotten. No matter how long it takes for the NDC to come to power, the NDC and NDC government, the next NDC government, will fully investigate this contract. And every single person who has played a role in causing this financial loss to the state will be hauled before the courts of our land and prosecuted with the appropriate sanctions meted out to them by a competent court of jurisdiction. Because the claims that have been made in this contract by Imani Ghana and by the minority and civil society are being justified. I'll give you one example. On the issue of privacy, the minister has bragged that some telcos have joined in and that the noises were fanciful noises. Let it be put on record that Kelny GVG has gone into a negotiation with the telcos that have joined. Vodafone allowed the probes to be inserted on Saturday, just this Saturday. And on Saturday, the reason why Vodafone allowed the probes to be inserted on Saturday was because Kelny GVG agreed to now allow the installation of filtering boxes. This is something that they did not want to agree to at the beginning. Without the filtering boxes, they would have had access to the data and the privacy of customers would have been breached. So if the minister is saying that the noises were fanciful noises, why then has KELNI GBG agreed to the installation of filtering patches or filtering boxes to be able to screen the identity, mask the identity of people using the services?
But quickly, Mr. George, quickly, let me come in at this point, Mr. George. The issue about a value for money audit that you raised, how do you know that a value for money audit, for instance, was not conducted prior to this official launch? How do you know?
MF, I'm struggling to hear you. I can't hear you.
I was asking, you raised concerns about this value for money audit that was not conducted before this official launch. I'm asking how you know that has not been done. It looks like we have a terrible connection to Mr. Sam George's line. But we've also been joined on the phone by the president of Imani Africa, Mr. Franklin Cudjoe. Thank you very much for your time here on Newsnight. I don't know if you heard the Minister of Communication, Esther Ekufu's submission there today at the NCA Towers. She actually raised the issues again about some privacy fears that were raised by think tanks like yourself, and that's describing it. You heard it. Your quick reaction. She says that the fears you raised were fanciful, and that even the court had to throw out some of the cases that were taken there.
The KELNI agreeing to not to connect to the billing to the notes that would ensure that they will be able to breach privacy, which was the whole matter about that settlement issue we were talking about. That KELNI went behind the ministry, the talking ministry, and said, look, we seem to have a contract. We are the object of all these advocacy. So we'd rather engage and ensure that we comply, which is what Sam George is confirming. As for the minister and her tantrums, well, we'll see how this ends. Really, it's actually now going to start. And I'm going to serve notice that if they thought that this matter will be swept by some fanciful conference of scariness about cybersecurity, which was not the intended purpose of the so-called Common Monetary Platform, then they made a terrible mistake, because the president has been deluded deceived into believing that cybersecurity, there are some attacks from probably outer space, and that's why we need the Common Monetary Platform. I don't begrudge the president. I only take exception to his endorsement of this crotchety deal, very badly arranged contract. And you're asking Sam George, how did he know? Didn't you read the expose we came out with, where 4 companies shortlisted? 3 of the companies shortlisted had a total stated capital of $6,000. When the contract sum, the procurement law says you must have at least 10% of the contract sum. Didn't you see all the sham offices and the very dodgy nature of about 3 of the companies in all these enterprises?
Okay. So, Mr. Cudjoe, unfortunately, we're out of time. But what exactly would we do now that it's been officially launched? Where do we go from here?
Settlement of KELNI, we decided that we're not going to seek judicial consent, so that we will not be stopped from taking further action. As of tonight, those actions have been activated in full swing. This is not
what actions are those?
At all.
What actions are those, Mr. Cudjoe?
We are going to pursue the matter of SRAJ, because as you know, with the SRAJ option, it's not adversarial, but inquisitorial. Judging from the recent decisions of SRAJ, we are tempted to think that they are actually much more, focused and diligent. Look, this Common Monetary Platform, the ministry broke the law. They broke the procurement law, as we've just found, as a result of the tender document that was sent. It was a symbolic process. Exceedingly symbolic. And as I said, this is not the end of the matter. In fact, we just started the discussion and the advocacy.
We're grateful for your time. That's Franklin Cudjoe, president of Imani Africa. And it's time now for sports. Hans Mensah in the studios.
Right, and in sports, Deputy Youth and Sports Minister Perry Curtis Okudzeto says Ghana will host one of the most spectacular Women's AFCON tournaments ever in history. The draw for the competition was held yesterday, and following that, the Deputy Minister promised that the country is committed to deliver a spectacular AFCON tournament.
I think that you saw this event and you've seen the work and the creativity that is gone into just the draw. That tells you what is about to happen in Ghana from November 17th to December 1st. We're looking to host a spectacular tournament you should look up to the opening ceremony when we put Ghana on the world stage.
That's Deputy Youth and Sports Minister Perry Curtis Okujetu. That's your sports.
Now, Joy News investigations have revealed how the identities of hundreds of teachers on study leave have been stolen by fraudsters and reassigned to new service persons. Joy News' Manasseh Azuria when he spent some time investigating the fraudulent activities in our reports.
My email address.
These pictures are definitely not yours.
They are not mine.
I have come to Kumasi to meet a group of students who have just completed the University of Education, Winneba. These are teachers who took study leave to continue their education and have been posted back to the classroom to teach. They've not enrolled to do their national service, but some persons have used their names and index numbers to register and have been posted to different parts of the country for national service. Evans Boachi Apia currently teaches in the Bono Ahafo region, but records indicate that he's been posted to the Pandai District Assembly in the northern region.
And I logged in, I got to know that somebody has impersonated me, used my details to register.
With his index number, we log on to the NSS enrollment system, and apart from his name and index number, every other information there belongs to someone else. When Evans called the telephone number used to register in his name, the person said his brother did it for him through a third party.
Yeah, he sold it. He sold the pin to you. Yeah. How much did you buy it? We bought it $550.
The affected students have denied ever giving their details to anyone else. They say their classmates who were not on study leave have not been affected, suggesting whoever used their index numbers to register might have known they were teachers on study leave.
They have their details here.
I went to the Kumasi campus of the University of Education, Winneba, to speak to the executives of the National Association of Teachers on Campus, NATOC. The association has details of teachers on study leave, even though the current and immediate past leaders have denied knowledge of how information of the teachers leaked. The NATOC secretary for the 2014-2015 academic year, Wisdom Kwesi Renchi, said while in office, 2 men came to him and promised to buy details of the teachers on study leave from the Kumasi campus of the university.
They said they will buy a copy each at 300 Ghana cedis, but I told them I will not do it.
Well, time for flip side now. And MFI, last week we were talking about the increases in beer prices, exactly. And it appears that an association of which you're a member.
Which association?
Oh, but this is the association of what's the name of that?
Drunkards Association. Now it's called Beverage Consumers and Bar Owners Association.
Oh,
I don't own
They have rebranded.
Yes, rebranded.
Oh, okay. And then let me read some of the. Let me read parts of what of the statement that they issued. It says, "Quote: We are calling on the beverage companies and the government to take an expeditious measures." And by the way, I'm reading it as they wrote it.
Yes.
To reduce the prices, since it will not only affect bar owners, but will also increase the unemployment virus in the country and may lead to the collapse of the most beverage companies in Ghana. A friend of mine, a friend of mine hinted that maybe, when they were writing the statement, there was some small thing on the eye. It will continue. The recent increment has affected about 232 drinking spots.
They counted.
Since consumers can no longer afford to drinking beer, leaving them with choice of drinking unsafe, low-priced alcoholic beverages. Well, we have been speaking to the president of the Drunkard Association. I know you're a member of that association, better known as Beverage Consumers and Bar Association. And of course, we put together the following report for you. Courtesy, Komlado.
Drinking beer moderately strengthens the kidney.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bottles.
At least 1 bottle a day helps the kidney. World Health Organization standard. We all know the pleasure we get from drinking. When you drink moderately, you become happy.
They are incensed, oh yes, over what exactly?
Consumers can no longer afford drinking beer. At first, we were buying beer 4 cedis 50 pesos per bottle. It is now 6 cedis 50 pesos. And there are some places we buy it 7 cedis, which is too much. It's not even beer alone. Akpeteshi itself, they have increased the price. First, a tot of Akpeteshi is 50 pesos. Now go to the drinking spot, it's 1 cedi 50 pesos per tot.
But that should be welcome news, should it not? Especially for all the medics tell us about alcoholic beverages. President of the Drunkards Association of Ghana, Moses Drybon, warns a demonstration is imminent.
If we do not hear any tangible statement from them, we will go on demonstration.
Over what?
Yes, because people are losing their jobs. We have about more than 3 million people who will join us.
And all these 3 million people are drunkards? They drink?
Yes.
Well, as they await a review of the prices of the alcoholic beverages, they would continue to drink, maybe from 4 bottles a day to say 3 bottles or 2 or maybe 1 a day. But for going a day without even a bottle, they will still drink, and drink.
3 million.
And MF, I know you are joining that demonstration.
Yeah,
I wish you well. That's it for Newsnight. My name is Evans Spencer.
I am MF Power, and Anansa Kwao is up next with That's My Opinion. What we have here can't be corruption is the topic. Stay tuned.